And for 2019, our Division II winner, Bob Jones University, Dr. Neil Ring, Director of Athletics, is here to receive the award this evening.
Game Plan for Life Student Athlete Character Award the purpose of this award is to recognize NCAA student athletes and athletic staff who epitomize the Christian character qualities of love, integrity, faith, and excellence. This year's Game Plan for Life male student athlete recipient is Andrew Taylor from Maranatha Baptist University. Andrew is a men's soccer student athlete. He has distinguished himself on the soccer field, but more importantly in his role as a mentor, campus leader, and volunteer. His Christ-like behavior and conduct is such a way that it embodies the core beliefs of the team. Andrew is active in his church as a Sunday school teacher and youth ministry leader and has served as a counselor at summer camps for several years, and he has served at Maranatha Baptist as a member in many roles. The graduate student has earned academic awards that include the NCAA Scholar Athlete and MBU Scholar Athlete. He's also been named Association of Division III Independent Goalkeeper of the Year and Association of Independent Schools First Team All-Conference. Head men's soccer coach Jeff Pill had this to say: "Spending time with Andy over the past several years has allowed me to witness firsthand the impact that he's able to have on those around him. He is a true leader." Athletic Director Rob Thompson said this: "It has been my privilege to observe Andrew in different capacities as a student, student athlete, student body leader, and dorm supervisor. In every endeavor, his high integrity and testimony have been unwavering." Accepting the award tonight for Andrew is the Athletic Director, Rob Thompson, from Maranatha Baptist University. Our female recipient of this award is Kylie Lefew from Bob Jones University. Kylie is a junior women's basketball student athlete who leads enthusiastically both vocally and by example. She is recognized by her peers on the team and by the campus community as a leader and is authentic in living out her faith. Kylie has a heart for missions and for sharing Jesus with others. She's been on several international mission trips to countries that include Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama. Locally, she serves at Miracle Hill Children's Home, tutoring foster children, and she also has helped run after-school basketball clinics and served at summer camps. Academically, she's been named to the President's or Dean's list several times and has been named an NCCAA Scholar Athlete. She's an excellent defender and is a player who's hard to guard because of her range and quickness. Kylie has twice been named to the NCAA Division II All-Region team. Quotes from her coach, Mike Labiere: "Kylie is a team player willing to sacrifice herself for the good of the whole. She's mature beyond her years and truly elite in terms of quality of character, work ethic, personality, communication skills, and reliability." Her athletic director, Neil Ring, said, "Kylie continues to perform at a high level in the classroom and lead her team in the locker room and on the court. She faithfully serves as a student leader on our campus, expanding her influence to many lives in our student body." This year's recipient, Kylie Lefew.
It's my honor tonight to present the Game Plan for Life Athletic Staff Character Awards. This year's Game Plan for Life Male Athletic Staff Character Award recipient is Steve Edwards from Bruton Parker College. Steve is the head women's basketball coach and also serves as a campus pastor. On a daily basis, he takes the time to move through the campus to visit with faculty and staff, asking for prayer needs, or to simply sit and listen. Students know his door is always open as someone in whom they can confide. Steve's greatest quality is his love for Jesus and how he challenges those around him to grow in their own personal faith. He always posts a scripture verse or motivational message each day for students to see. He holds Bible studies for students on campus and leads groups in his local church. Steve also organizes and leads chapel every Tuesday, which many times includes preaching to the student body. Even though sharing Christ with others and reaching students personally is his main mission on campus, his team has been excellent on the court and has broken many school records. His team was ranked in the top 3 in the Southern States Athletic Conference for the majority of the year. Steve was named co-coach of the year for the vast improvement his team has made from previous years. Coach Steve Edwards has helped me grow in numerous ways that I did not know I could, stated J.D. Ivey, basketball student athlete. He is not only a basketball coach, but a spiritual coach. I am forever grateful for all he has done for me and also for the love he shows people every day. Sports Information Director Jenny Previtt said, Steve strives not only to be successful on the court, but also to connect with the entire student body spiritually. He is someone on campus that students know has their best interests at heart, and is also well respected among faculty and staff. Please join me in congratulating Steve as the 2019 Game Plan for Life Male Athletic Staff recipient. This year's Game Plan for Life Female Athletic Staff Character Award recipient is Kelly Sharp of Grace College. Kelly oversees and directs many of the daily operations for all 17 varsity programs at Grace. She is the first person people encounter, and she shows unconditional love and support to all the students and coaches at Grace. Kelly serves over 300 student athletes on a daily basis. She has also served as a tournament committee member and the banquet director for the NCCAA Division I Basketball Championships hosted at Grace. Kelly's leadership, ability, and level of professionalism are evident with the success that she has built within the athletic department. In addition to daily operations, she also maintains and oversees all compliance and insurance for Grace's athletic programs. She has a tremendous passion for higher education and is dedicated to impacting both coaches and students through that platform of athletics. Kelly serves both the community and on campus in many areas. She has stepped in with coaching transitions in the past, serving as a mission trip leader for women's tennis. Living out her faith, Kelly mentors student athletes while supporting and investing in coaches. Her sincere Christian commitment to always working with integrity has set a high standard as she impacts lives each day on campus. Kelly has been and continues to be a standard of Christian excellence in the arena of athletics at Grace College, said Athletic Director of Athletics Chad Briscoe. Her leadership and servant-like attitude has helped build a strong and unique culture in our athletic department that reflects the NCCAA's Game Plan for Life. Please join me in congratulating Kelly as our 2019 Game Plan for Life Female Staff Award recipient.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Okay, we'll start again. I'm a bit of an energy person, and I like to feel like you're involved. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Awesome. What an exciting time to be able to celebrate and enjoy people for the impact that they have on us and those around us. And congratulations already to the winners that have just been announced. And now we look forward to speaking about our class of 2019 Hall of Fame members. I want to read this. This is a plaque that's on our campus. And I think it speaks to this Hall of Fame class. It's called the Spirit of the Warrior, but we could say the Spirit of the NCCAA. Beyond years yet to come, we honor those who gave their best, for hands that served, hearts that loved, minds that challenged, and faith that lifted us heavenward, to soar even as the eagles. And tonight it's my high honor to speak about a man who is a hero and a legend at Southern Wesleyan University. Dr. Connor arrived at Southern Wesleyan University, which was Central Wesleyan back in the day, in 1962 as a combination high school senior and college freshman. Bypassing a chance to play professionally, he went on to serve in the military in Korea. And hearing the call from God, Connor returned to campus in '69 as a full-time PE instructor and the first AD in school history. In 1970, Dr. Connor proposed the development of intercollegiate athletics, and it was approved by the Board of Trustees. Now known as the founding father of athletics, he started 10 of our now existing 18 sports. During his 40-plus year tenure, he was a leader in the NAI and within the NCCA, serving on numerous committees and advocating for both associations, encouraging other schools to join. He also coached many sports, including 3 at one time, at least 3 at one time. Volleyball, women's basketball, and softball, while doing the AD gig and teaching, and oh yeah, raising a family. Southern Wesleyan started soccer in 1973, and guess who coached it? You're right, Dr. Connor, having no knowledge of the sport. Well, they went 1-10-1 that year, but quickly turned it around the next year, going 9-8-2. A story that I think really speaks about Dr. Connor's commitment to this association was a year when our soccer program should have advanced to the NAIs. But instead, they came here because Dr. Connor wanted his athletes to experience the spiritual development that happened even in competition through athletics. This will be a little different than what we would normally do, but I've asked Dan Wood, a former player of Dr. Connor, to come and share a few stories about his coach.
John Wooden made the comment that coach ranks barely behind the term of endearment of mom and dad. Yep. First ones are funny. That team in 1979 was on the way we were going to Messiah College for the Final Four. We called it the Frozen Four. It was the week after Thanksgiving. It was 30 degrees and sleeted the whole time. I forgot to tell you that about 90% of our team was from Ecuador and Guatemala. Houghton loved cold weather, wherever Skip is. So we headed up there to play. Coach had a rule. He created a schedule because the seniors wanted to monopolize the 8-track player. I did say it was 1979. The 8-track player on the bus. My half hour came up. He puts in my 8-track. I love Jimmy Buffett. Yeah, oh, it's coming. However, I was in the middle of cleaning house with James Duff on the spades table that we had made that you could fit around the seats of the bus. And I wasn't leaving the game because, Lord forgive us and be with all the people, but we were gambling and we were winning. Our Wesleyan tradition would say that's why we lost to Houghton. We had sinned and got, with that. We're in the game and we're playing and I'm kind of listening and great songs are on and all of a sudden there's a song and I won't say the title because it's the NCCAA that we're at. But the chorus came on. And unfortunately my ability to leap was not good enough to jump over the board and get to the 8-track player before the chorus came on. The first words of the chorus came on. The next sound you heard, if you know anything about 8-tracks, was zip. With one hand, it came out. He opened the bus window and threw it out the window. You owe me $1.99 from Columbia House Records, by the way. The other that same year, actually it was the next year, I'm sorry, 1980, Because of financial difficulty, scholarships were gone. And so were all the players from Ecuador and Guatemala. And we weren't going to any Final Fours. A board member by the name of Danny Loggins was on that team, and we were having trouble finishing. I was a goalkeeper for Coach, and we couldn't finish. And so one day at practice, he placed his daughter, Erin, who was about 18 months, set her down in the middle of the goal. Yeah. And he says, "Don't hit my daughter, but don't miss the net. You go right post, you go left post, and you finish, or we'll hit the hill." I think Danny was third in line. He knocked Erin over. He immediately turned and ran all the way back up the hill, which was about 1/8 of a mile, straight uphill to campus, because he knew Coach was going to kill him. Coach kind of laughed, got his daughter up, and practice was over, as I remember. What I remember about this man, though, is as an 8, 9-year-old kid with a family heavily invested in Central Wesleyan College, he would come to my father's house, our house in North Carolina, for the Greater Greensboro Open. It was a golf event. I was a 9-year-old kid. They came up to see golf, play golf. But Coach never failed to take me out in the yard and throw a baseball. Never asked me, they never failed to say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on, Dan?" 228 Thomas Lane is my address. Kelly Wood has a better husband. Grant and Courtney have a significantly better dad, because of the man who's second in command behind my father is the greatest man I've ever known. Thank you.
We weren't going to miss that just because Dan's the executive director. We wanted to hear that because that's what coaches do for each of us. And I think that each of our recipients can resonate with some of those stories. It was his passion to see men and women learn to discipline their bodies within their sport, but also learn how to discipline their spiritual formation for the rest of their lives. His impact went far beyond athletics. Many lives were transformed through the various roles that included professor, class advisor, program coordinator, coach, trainer, bus driver, director of athletics, social life director, counselor, and many more. Reverend Joy Bryant, who's here tonight, one of Coach's student athletes, said Coach Connor treated all students the same way. He loved us. He wanted what was best for us. That did not mean perfection. It meant he wanted us to be happy, healthy, and productive Christ followers. Being the current director of athletics, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for the foundation that this man has left me to be able to try to follow. I'm thankful for the classiness of allowing me to come and speak to him. And to always leave me with this comment, "I'm glad it's your problem now." So at this time, the NCCAA is honored to induct Dr. Keith Connor into the Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2019.
Well, this is quite an honor, and really not something I deserve, but since you invested in the plaque, I'm going to take it. I have been very fortunate over my 46 years when I was working at Southern Wesleyan University. I would say, truthfully, I never went to work. I was able to play for 46 years. I thoroughly enjoyed my job. It was not something that I had to do. It's something that I wanted to do. I've been very fortunate. I have 4 ladies sitting right here and a lady sitting back there who represent my female athletes. I love them dearly, and I know they love me. Administratively, I could not have turned Southern Wesleyan University over athletic directorship over any better than to the individual sitting right here, Chris Williams. He is just a wonderful, wonderful guy. In your life, you have special people. And the people I've mentioned so far are special people. And ladies, please excuse me. Chris, please excuse me. But every once in a while, not often, you have a person in your life who is special. And that person is Dan Wood. Dan and I have been associated for 46 years. And by accident, if nothing else, we got Dan at Southern Wesleyan University at that time, Central Wesleyan College. My thoughts were he was going to North Carolina State and play golf. But his father said, you try Southern Wesleyan or Central Wesleyan, excuse me for mixing it up here. You try it for a year. Well, Dan followed his father's advice and wandered down to the soccer field his freshman year, never played soccer, and turned into a tremendous soccer goalie for me. Dan and I lived 3 houses apart, but we saw each other more when he lived in Oklahoma than we do now because y'all keep him so busy I can't see him. And I don't particularly care for that. One final thing, and I'll sit down, or maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, and I decide to stop. Could not have done this alone, without a doubt. I'm proud to have my son here tonight, Jamin, and my daughter-in-law, Dana. My 2 daughters were not able to make it, but I know they'd be very proud for me if they were here. But most of you know you cannot operate in this business without a good spouse if you happen to be married. And I happen to be married. And I have the greatest spouse in the world. She has been supportive of me in everything that I've done. I've had the easy job. I didn't have to raise the family. She did. She's the one that got them to school in the morning, picked them up in the afternoon, brought them to different places because I was busy working with other people's children. And I don't regret that. That's just the truth. But I want everybody to know here that I love my wife dearly for what she has done for me. And thank you very much for this honor.
Hey, she's bossing you now, Coach.
Judy Fox has given her life to serving Christ through the venue of athletics. She realized her passion for sharing the love of Christ through sport ministry after serving on a mission trip to Mexico while attending Houghton College. Judy likes to say it's all about relationships, and that mantra holds true for her, as many of the student athletes who have traveled internationally with her count her as a key influencer in their lives. Judy was an All-American volleyball player and then later coached volleyball at the NCCAA level, NAIA level, and yes, NCAA Division I level. Up until the time she founded Ignite International, a nonprofit organization whose goal is to leverage the universal language of sport to enrich, encourage, and empower lives, both at home and abroad. Through this ministry, Judy has been able to live out her deep desire to impact others for Christ in numerous countries around the world, as well as here at home. Lori Wynn, Geneva College women's basketball coach, said, "I was truly blessed by Judy's presence when she led my team on a trip to Jamaica. Not only did she lead the team, but she took time to invest in every single player during that trip. She's a great example of faithfulness to the Lord." Judy's impact for Christ is also felt domestically in the United States, as she has served as the chaplain of the NCCAA Women's Volleyball National Championships since 2009. Judy has the opportunity to share devotionals, speak words of encouragement, and invest in the lives of student athletes and coaches during these national events. And I, for one, I've seen her in action, and I've been personally blessed by her ministry. Alicia Mooker, Houghton College women's basketball coach, said, "Not only does Judy pursue ministry opportunities for collegiate sport teams to share Christ, but she invests herself in the lives of young people. What matters most to her is that people's lives are changed. They are exposed to who Jesus Christ is, and they have the opportunity to develop a personal relationship with the Lord." Our own NCCA Executive Director Dan Wood said, "Judy could qualify as an outstanding student athlete and/or coach, but really belongs in the NCCA Hall of Fame as a result of the thousands of lives she's impacted for the kingdom through sport ministry." What an example she is of all this association stands for over all these years. It's my privilege and honor, along with the NCCAA, to induct Judy Fox into the Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2019.
Where's Lou, Denny? How much time do I have? I'm down to, Lou told me that I had 30 seconds, and then he told me I was down to 28. And that was like 2 hours ago. So if you know Lou, then you understand. And if you know Lou's in my relationship, you really understand. What an absolute honor. I'm not one who is easy to surprise. My parents never were able to pull off a surprise birthday party or things like that. But when Kelly called me, I was actually driving my dog to the vet in December, and I looked down on my caller ID, and it was Kelly Wood. And you answer that call when lifetime friends call you, and I was absolutely floored. This is an honor that so many are deserving of, and I feel very strongly that what I do is wake up every morning and say yes. And I know that you guys feel that about how you serve as well. We wake up every morning and say yes to Him, and whatever He chooses to do with that day, He chooses to do. I just want to say real quick 3 things, you know, I was thinking about what to pack and what to wear, and I actually chose my colors intentionally because I'm a firm believer that you never forget where you've come from. My high school was purple and white. My college was purple and gold. I'm very thankful to have my coach here tonight, and I could resonate pretty much everything you said, Dan, in terms of Coach Lord and his influence in my life. I've also, our dear friend Christy Warnkin came as well to celebrate. She lives a couple hours away and played volleyball for us at Houghton. And what's really amazing to me is when Erica had asked me, what guests would you bring or what family might you bring? My parents are in Pennsylvania and were not able to come. But I said, really, this is like, for this event and this kind of an award, probably everyone I want to celebrate that with is sitting in this room. And it's amazing to share this time with you. We all go through mountains and valleys. You go through them yourselves in coaching. And I just want to encourage all of you that what you're doing is such a magnificent thing in the lives of each of your student athletes. You can never underestimate the power of what you do as a Christian coach, as a Christian influencer in the life of the next generation. I know that we all feel that. I know that's why we're all here, and that is what this organization represents. It's what SCORE represents. Ron Bishop was one of my heroes, and continue with SCORE, with Tim and Jenny, to be very, very close. It's amazing to me just to look around this room and to greet so many of you, and it's like, it really is like being with family. So thank you so much for the tremendous honor, not just of a plaque that hangs on a wall, but what that represents and the relationships that represents. I first met Dan and Kelly when I coached at Indiana Wesleyan for 2 years, and Dan was the soccer coach, and we officed a couple doors away from each other. And it's just a dear friendship that has lasted over the years. And as I look around, so many of you are brothers, are sisters of mine, are family with me. And I'm just so appreciative of the opportunity to give back as the chaplain to this organization, and certainly deeply honored for the recognition that you guys have felt is worthy. It's an honor that belongs upward. It is a matter of living out what he's created me to do, and I could not be more thrilled that he's chosen this partnership to be part of that journey. So thank you. I love the NCCAA and will always remain faithfully committed to every relationship that's here. It is all about relationship. Thank you all. I need to go take a picture.
Well, I get the honor of introducing you to a colleague as a former NCCA track and field coach, who I got to see in action, I wish more, but a few times when I was track coach. Brian Patton is getting inducted into our Hall of Fame, and let's learn a little bit more about him. Since 1994, Brian has served as the head cross-country and track and field coach at Greenville University, where his men's indoor and outdoor teams have won a total of 10 NCCA national championships. Listen to these accolades. He has been named NCCA Coach of the Year or Coaching Staff of the Year 10 times. Conference Cross-Country Coach of the Year 25 times. And he's still a young guy. His cross-country teams have won a combined 31 conference championships. He's mentored 699 NCCAA track and field All-Americans and 72 Division III track and field All-Americans. I don't have one at my university. He has had much success, but loves it more when someone grows in their relationship with Christ. He's been a champion of the sport, leading Greenville's conference to add cross-country and track and field as sponsored sports. Many student athletes would not have had an opportunity to compete for a conference championship without Brian's work. Within the NCCA, Brian has served as national or chair or vice chair in indoor and outdoor track and field for many years, and worked hard to provide a quality experience for everyone in the NCCA community because of his passion for the sport. The fruits of Brian's leadership and love for Christ are evident in his programs. His student athletes have a commitment to personal, academic, and athletic excellence. Brian's office is usually filled with students on a daily basis, and he often gives spiritual encouragement as he desperately wants others to know Christ. Dean of Professional Studies and a friend of mine, Doug Faulkner, said, Brian is a determined, persistent, responsible, and caring innovator. His coaching aptitude speaks for itself regarding conference and national championships. But he has a heart for the lost, and he lives out the parable of leaving the 99 to find the one. When people think about Greenville cross country, track and field, they think of Brian Patton, stated Dean of Students Ross Baker. While he has continued success in both programs over the past 2 decades, truly his success has been showing his athletes what following Christ looks like and discipling them along the way. Brian's commitment to excellence in all he does has led to this honor, which is so well deserved, says NCCA Executive Director Dan Wood. He simply honors his Lord in how he serves, trains, and leads. He is humble yet strives to excel, which is a unique balancing act within the Christian experience. Brian, I have 2 sons in high school that run track and field. I'd be honored if they'd run for you someday. Please join me in congratulating Brian Patton into the NCCA Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2019.
Matt, I'll take those phone numbers right now. We get started. To God be the glory. He has been merciful to me, and the boundary lines have fallen in favorable places. I had a different experience, Judy, whenever Dan called me. I saw it was an 864 number, and I thought it was Ben. So I answered the phone, thinking it had something to do with one of the national meets, and instead I heard Dan Wood's voice. And I immediately thought, oh no, what did I do? I did not hear what Dan said for the first 20 seconds, and I am serious, because I was just going through my mind like, what did I say? What did I didn't do anything. And so then I went to, okay, maybe somebody has said they couldn't host, and so now we need to find a host for one of the indoor or outdoor championships. And once I thought, no, that's not it, then I finally checked back into the conversation to hear Dan say, sometimes I actually get to make phone calls with good news. And at that point, I was on a shopping trip with my sister and my dad. It was in December. And I can remember where we were, and I stared out the window as he said the news, and fought back a couple tears and said thank you, and then hung up the phone. And as I gathered myself, then said to my dad and my sister, hey, that was Dan Wood, and he said that I got into the Hall of Fame. And so my sister, I have one sibling, and contrary to popular belief, she's younger than me, not older. And Amy said, well, you know what that means, don't you? And I said, no, what? And she said, you're getting old. Now, I will say, because seems like I mentor a lot of kids, but there's a lot of friends that go through hard things in life as well. And for me and my sister, we've had a good relationship all of our life. And she has been the best cheerleader and the most supportive person that I've known in my life for me. To God be the glory. He has been merciful to me, and the boundary lines have fallen in favorable places. Now, those that know me, they may find this hard to believe, but being my parent was not always easy. But that's okay, because most of the things in my parents' life were not easy. My dad is one of 10 kids. I was going to say, well, and that meant they were poor, but I don't think you need to say that when you say he was one of 10 kids. And my mom was born in England during World War II. She would say it was right at the end of World War II. I had to look it up yesterday. Don't mean to date her, but she was born in England, and my grandmother was an English citizen, and my grandfather was a U.S. soldier. And she came across in the Queen Mary not that long later, not when it was a cruise ship, but when it was servicing the family members and the troops for the United States back and forth to Europe. And so for them, they have been two of the hardest working people that I know. And things have not been easy for them, but they set out to prepare a place for my sister and I that would be much better than what they had. And my sister and I would say, we know the sacrifice they've made. We understand the commitment. But I would say that we have no clue of the commitment and the hardship and the sacrifices that they made as we grew up. Glory to God. He has been merciful to me, and the boundary lines have fallen in favorable places. At Greenville, I'm thankful the athletic director who was there for 15 years, Doug Faulkner, he had my back at all times and saw a vision of track and field and cross country long before the other schools around us did. And he handed the baton off to Coach Ackerman, whose philosophy has been, I'm just going to stay out of Patton's way and let him do what he wants to do. But I've been grateful for them that they have gone ahead and trusted in what our coaching staff has done and allowed us to lead. But over the last 6 months, like when I go swim, when I go for a run, I've allowed myself time to think back of all those kids that have come through the program and the coaching staffs that we've had, and just cherish time where you get so busy. You can't think back anymore because you've got to think of all the things that have to get done. You know, he said something like he never went a day of work in his life, and I'm thinking, wow, that'd be nice. I enjoy it, but there's a lot of work to get done. But I'm grateful. We've had kids like Coach Easley who not only competed for us at Greenville, but who have come back and are now coaching on our staff and are here tonight. But tonight, I need to introduce you to a man who has sacrificed more to our program than anybody else. And I'm going on my 25th year at Greenville. And Coach Tom has been at Greenville as our throws coach for 23 of those 25 years. 2 years he took a hiatus to be the head high school coach, and then we bribed him to come back to the program. But the sacrifice that he has made and his family has made, Tom, anything that I am a part of, it's yours as well. These awards should not be plaques, they should be puzzles. So then we could hand those out to people that we've rubbed elbows with and done life with, had the highs and the lows, and can remember when we were taking one shuttler to Christian Nationals, hoping one year we could place fourth. Just one time, Lord, would you just one time let us get fourth place at one of these meets? To then staying up all night in those hotel rooms, going over the entries before the meet starts, to then calculate who's going to win the meet and if we could win it. Or rubbing the bus. We came back from Cedarville one indoor season, and it's a 5-hour drive. That night it was 9.5 hours due to the snowstorm, and the defrost went out on the bus. So I was driving one of our school shuttlers, and it was like I was trying to land a fighter jet on an aircraft carrier. My rear was puckered the whole time. That's good, huh? There we go. Well, Coach Tom was on the charter bus, and the defrost had gone out on the front of the charter bus, and so he spent the next 9 hours with a towel rubbing the windshield for the driver on the inside. Been good times, Tom. Thank you. To God be the glory. He has been merciful to me, and the boundary lines have fallen in favorable places. When I was hired by Ish Smith as the president, he said, Brian, I'm not hiring you as the head coach of track and field, but I'm hiring you as the minister of track and field. And I have not always been a great minister, but I've never forgotten that. And for those that know, coaching is a family affair, and the Lord has blessed me with a pastor's wife who have seen the ministry opportunities that we have and has said, let's go. And that's meant sacrifices in our house and outside of the house and at all hours and weekends, etc. But as Coach Keith had said, I have the best wife in the room. I won't say any more. And I've got, the Lord has blessed me with 2 young boys in my old age. And those 2, they think that every member of the team is either their older brother or older sister, and they have been put on this planet for one thing by the Lord, and that is to play with them. To God be the glory. He has been merciful to me, and the boundary lines have fallen in favorable places. For us, the NCCAA has been the organization that we have poured ourselves into for our staff. And we didn't have a conference meet for years and years and years. Actually, it's only been the last 3 years that we've had a conference track championship. So we have always focused on Christians. And so for us, it's been a true blessing. And I am humbled and honored, as you can see, just grateful for what the Lord has done in our lives and continues to do. And so we thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thanks.
Now I'm totally confused. I thought I had the best wife in the room, but I guess. I say this every year, but if you sit there, if you're a conventioneer every year and come, or come every so often, so forth, I hope you don't get hung up in plaques and awards and the screens and your names up there. I hope you're hearing this. They were you. Yeah, they've got years and years on you now. But just do the next right thing tomorrow. Do it the next day. Not so you'll get an award and be on a screen, but you'll have that kind of story. Man, did you hear the legacies in those individuals of impact? Coach, Judy, Brian, your families, NCCA says thanks. That song, Thank You, that it kind of got corny after a while. You remember that? For giving to the Lord, and they'd sing it at homecoming at our churches growing up. But I see long lines. If the Lord lets us recognize each other up there, whatever that plan is, you better be ready, because you're going to have a long line of people waiting to tell you thanks. To your families for letting them serve, thank you. If you weren't here with us last night, you missed it. Tom Roy was not only funny, not as funny as he thought he was, but he was funny and humorous and challenging. And it's unique. We just honored Judy Fox for her years as a chaplain at our volleyball championships. And she only has about 18 less years in than this guy who's going to share just a quick challenge with us. He literally started our chaplains program. We didn't even have one. And he didn't have a job or didn't have anything worthwhile doing, so he came to our baseball championships 28 years ago and really crafted what now is the NCCA Chaplains Program. Lives have been changed and impacted. He's got a book called Shepherd Coach. I'd highly recommend you look at it. You go, I don't coach. Well, you don't have to. If you're a parent, you coach. If you're a kid, we're trying to coach you. You need to read the book and let your parents do a good job. Elijah and Caleb, wherever they're hiding at. So I'm going to let you enjoy some time with Tom Roy, and if you'd welcome him up, he's just going to share a challenge, kind of that go get 'em kind of speech. Please welcome Tom Roy.
First of all, Dan, thank you for having me follow those 3 humble people. My rear is puckered. That's all I can say right now. What the? Some of you were here last night. You know, I'm a Panther. I like to move around, yeah.
Brandon, we can edit the tape.
Yeah, you can add. I'm just repeating. I like to wander around. I've been given 5 minutes to put a bow on this thing. And so I just want to share a couple of thoughts with you. And as we've heard all three of these individuals come up here, this is what's come to my mind. With athletes for the last 40, 50 years, I've taught something called intent versus impact. And it's usually in a negative sense. You know, do you realize what you did? Yeah, but I didn't intend to. But you understand the impact that it's had on the team. Tonight I want to twist that a little bit, because it's been mentioned already, but I don't think any of our recipients tonight woke up every day and said, I want to be in the NCCAA Hall of Fame someday. But what they did do is what any hero does. They get up and they do what they're called to do. And as Christian men and women, I heard it over and over again, humbly. I said yes. And the impact that they have had, as Dan just mentioned, our lines, our tears, which we've heard tonight, all kinds of things happened because they said yes. Every day they woke up, they had the same opportunity we have to have a bad day, and I'm sure they had a few, or to say, you know what? Thank you, Jesus, for an opportunity to serve. The second thing I want to share with you, and then I'll be done because I get 5 minutes, is this. And this is for all of us. We can spend our lives anywhere. Where will we invest them? Some of you spent years in education getting a degree, getting post degrees, doctorates. You spent time in your office. You spend time on athletic fields. You spend time with your families. Our economy is about spending, but the economy of Jesus is about investing. And I want to challenge you as you leave here tonight, and as you go back to your ministries, to not think, today I have to go to work and do this, but I want to change the paradigm to say, today I get to invest in the kingdom of God on a baseball field, on a volleyball court, in my office, as I prepare, as I'm with my family. Because as we get older, unfortunately, sometimes it's just like, well, I got to spend my time doing this. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So my challenge to us is that we do not get in our Christian RVs and drive off into the sunset, but we continue to say, Jesus, today you've given me another day of life. How might I, as our three heroes this evening have done for their lives, not to get in the Hall of Fame here, but how might I not spend my life on my campus and with my family, but invest? Matthew 28 says, therefore, go into all nations, making disciples. This man right here, who I count as a close friend, gets to do that. Not all of us get to go to all nations, but our nations have lines on them. Our nations have hoops on each end. Our nations have classrooms. My challenge is, men and women, please be a Philippians 2 person like we heard tonight, and consider others better than yourself, and make an investment that's going to have eternal consequences and rewards. My 5 minutes is up. If I can help you, I would be a total hypocrite if I didn't say, I want to help, if I can serve you. Thank you, Dan, NCCAA. The recipients tonight, outstanding. Your speeches shared who you were. That's why you got those awards. May we do what you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. I think there's an image going to come up on the screen. We're going to close. Look at it carefully. Should see a common figure in there. I challenge us as coaches, athletic directors, those in the athletic world, those with impact, those who leave residue in life. We hear the terms in athletics, student athlete. But Keith Connor, Judy, Brian, my guess is even when you were students, you were probably student servants. And I know that's what you've chosen to create or pour into. I don't think my annual visit with Mark Emmert and Jim Carr, I don't think we'll change all the handbooks to say student servant. I don't think they'll rewrite them. I think student athlete's probably in there for a while. But I hope you understand after hearing tonight what it's like to see a student athlete and understand who he or she can be in God's economy. I hope that's what we'll be about, and you've heard it now 3 times, not so you can be on the screen and get the award, but so that heaven will be a really, really crowded joint. That would be the goal. If you were not with us today for the CSP, you missed it. I think this thing is awesome. If I had a nose, it'd be better. Your group of delegates at this convention packed 17,280 meals so that people who wouldn't eat somewhere in the next 4 days will now eat. They invested an hour. They took an hour. You can applaud yourself. That's good. How many enjoyed your chicken tonight? Because it's a healthy athletic thing. I enjoyed the steak because I'm 58 and I'm going to die someday, but it ain't going to be not eating what I want to. How many enjoyed the salad? My vegan buddy here. We go to Outback and I order a steak for both of us and I get 2. Those folks are going to enjoy a rice soy soup stew mix. And what we learned today is that most of them, it will be their meal for the day. Not for lunch, not for breakfast, not for dinner, for the day. Where's your time? Where's your investment? Who are we feeding? ESPN culture of sport doesn't need us. Well, they do, but they need us to present Him to them. They don't need more records and awards and scandals and talks and rule changes and compliance. I am proud to say that the association you've attended a dinner function for tonight and you're part of and a convention if you've been here since Tuesday night, this is a place where the cross of Christ goes first. Track comes down the line. Volleyball comes down the line. Soccer and women's basketball and softball and men's basketball and everything else you ever coached comes down the line. I'm going to have you stand and we're going to leave, and I just want you to leave as people who have been blessed tonight, but also leave challenged. Go be a servant. You know, here's the reality. Before you leave this hotel, if you're just passing through tonight, you'll probably meet a hotel staff or another guest. Man, I'd love to be a fly on the wall and have them say, hey, what was that thing you were at? Oh, we were just celebrating Jesus and some people. Those of you who are staying, you're going to leave here tomorrow. How about your housekeeping staff? How about the folks who service in the morning when you check out? Whoever you go and get your coffee from at Starbucks. I said it earlier, and you can go ahead and stand. My dad always told me, son, always make them be sad that you're leaving, not very thankful that you're gone. I think Christians should be like that. I think we should be like that. To our honorees, welcome to the Hall of Fame. To our student athletes, our staff members, thanks for excellence. That's the year of excellence for us in NCCA. But to all of us, I think I'm going to steal a line from Mr. Pucker here. Which I love, by the way, and we all say it. We just can't say it when it's formal. Glory to God. And the boundary lines, probably for all of us, have been very favorable. Have a great evening, and thanks for being here.